Billy before the game was just generally worried for Tua, like a parent.
Yeah, I was.
Like one of those
and he wasn't doing
mothers.
anything to make me feel any better, diving into people head
God,
first.
What is he doing?
I love
He's
it, though,
playing
man. I got to be honest with you. When I was seeing it, I was like, yeah. And I was like, don't do that. But yeah. That's what I want.
Well, I don't know if you guys listened to the ESPN Daily today with Pablo and Alex Smith, but Alex Smith said that unless you're sliding feet first into like nothing as a quarterback, it's actually more dangerous in his opinion than taking. I don't think taking that hit in particular is what he was saying was more safe. But he got his only concussion, I guess, as a player, sliding and getting.
No, I understand what he's saying.
I thought it was a good point, but yeah, he took a big hit.
You also lost a leg.
You're exposed when you're sliding like that, and if a guy hits you now, you feel protected by law there, but you're going to get hit by someone who's going to get penalized. I think that's what happened if you're sliding. But Tua said, "Coach, I'm sorry, I needed that." That's the quote from Tua, that he needed to go out there and get some violent physical
I love
contact.
You got a little taste of blood in your mouth. That's what you need to feel alive again in football. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's why you go back into the game after you've had a concussion. And it's why he played this week.
Allegedly.
Guys, there's like 7 concussion protocols every week on every team, and he went through the protocol. He's
oh my
cleared.
God, we're
Kenny
not doing
Pickett
this
was
again.
coming
I'm just
We're not
saying,
doing
like,
this
why are we
again.
acting like he's playing football? He's back from the concussion protocol.
Did you guys think after the Dolphins opening drive that it was going to be like a 50-3 final score? Because I did. I was so nervous, but then nothing else happened for the entire game.
The Dolphins had another good offensive drive on their next drive, and I think they went for it on a 4th down and didn't get it. Their first
they kicked the field goal.
field goals.
Yeah, I mean, their first 3 offensive possessions were really good. And then Mike Tomlin must have looked at the iPad for 1 second. Oh, all they do is throw over the middle. Let's stop that. And then the offense completely shut down after that.
That's not really the Steelers' defense's strong suit, though. So I am surprised as anyone else that they were able to contain the Dolphins' offense after what we saw in the first quarter. I also thought, I mean, from a Steelers fan perspective, the Steelers still had a chance to win that game if Kenny Pickett just maybe, I don't know, runs out of bounds instead of throwing that last interception. So I guess it ended up being somewhat of a decent game, even though it looked like the first quarter versus the fourth quarter were different football teams on the field.
I wasn't really watching the game. I did see that final drive, just like saying, "Dear God, please, Kenny Pickett, hold on." But it's my understanding that Tua got away with multiple dropped interceptions.
4 of them. There were 4 of them.
That's not great.
He's good for at least one of those a game. The number of times that oblong-shaped ball did not end up in the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers was startling.
Well, no, it ended
How
up
many
in the
times?
hands, and then it fell out of their hands.
Like
His
Mike
own
Evans
receivers
yesterday.
dropped it, too, a bunch of times.
It's just like...
Did the ball get slippery? Are they greasing the balls like the poles
Like
in
the poles in
Philadelphia?
Philly?
That's not working.
We've buried the lead. We should have started once again with the agenda that is most important to South Florida. Those need to be the permanent uniforms. That game is just an absolute joy to look at. Aesthetically, so pleasing. I hate the current uniforms.
Beautiful at night as well.
It's just that uniform set is just a chef's kiss. It is incredible.
I'm so bummed that both the Hurricanes and the Dolphins aren't relevant enough to play night games. That stadium looks awesome at night. It looks so cool at night. They start the opening sweeping intro. Like, this is an awesome place to watch a game.
So, like, the Hurricane start times, it's just like, you're a bad team. You're a bad team.
We're noon
They're
on
not
bad-
even on TV.
I think we're like at an 11:30 start. Like, game day's still picking, and we're like midway through the first quarter.
We're noon on Bally Sports
So-
for the end of the season.
So Miami has this uniform set that Adidas made called Miami Knights. Miami Knights. You have to have a primetime game to wear these Miami Knights uniforms. We're going to be in all black uniforms against FSU with an 11:45 kick.
What about McDaniel on 4th and 3 at the Pittsburgh 14, up 16-10, going for it? I think McDaniel walks around life everywhere in the world saying, I can always get 3 yards. I can get 3 yards
a handout
whenever.
straight up the middle with Chase Edmonds? The decision, whatever. I mean, against Kenny Pickett, I wouldn't have minded kicking a field goal there because you have a 2-score lead against Kenny Pickett. That's as good as done.
It's a bad decision. It's a bad decision to go for it. It's a bad play call.
If you throw a drag route to Tyreek Hill, you can't really have too much of a go. But a handoff to Chase Edmonds who was dreadful.
Chase Edmonds, I think, is the main problem because I thought Mostert was actually having a good game, Dan. There's the most encouraging sign from that game outside of winning it. because 16 points in the NFL, you don't necessarily always win those games. Is that Mostert seems to be coming online, and that running game is starting to get bigger chunk plays and have averages over 5 yards a carry.
They put up the stat during the game that he is on 16% of his runs, 10 or more yards. It's second in the league. So he does, and he did it in the first half of that game. They just kept handing him the ball, and he'd get 10 or 12 yards. But going back for a second, though I want my coach to be aggressive, I love a coach, generally speaking, who is saying to himself, I believe my offense can get 3 yards against whomever, whenever, don't care about the game situation. But you have to take a 2-score game there against Kenny Pickett. You're at the 14-yard line. It's 4th and 3. It's 16-10. You got to make that game 19-10 and dare Pickett to drive down the field twice on you to score.
Did I imagine it, or did Collinsworth and Tirico say that after he did that, they were like, well, the analytics say slight advantage for kicking a field goal here?